there should be like a bunch of people join really quick because everybody gets the notif. So I'm gonna have it pull up on my phone just to see if it goes through.
You get that loyal fan base going on.
Yeah, I always get like at least 50 to come in.
Sick. I'll join your Discord soon. I have to figure out how to make another Discord account because I have one for something else. So I'm working on that. But then I'll be in the Discord.
Yeah, because no one knows about, like, barely anybody knows about my other one. So let me see. Oh, that's weird. Why is it not like it's taking forever to load? There it goes. All right. So let me see where it's at.
Let me see. Oh, that's weird. Why is it not?
Okay, so it's like basically literally live. Like it's like right there. Okay, good. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are on the road to 9,000 subscribers. So if you guys do have a friend that hasn't subscribed yet, make sure to get them to join the stream and just hit the subscribe button and like the video. We're going to be doing some 2024 analysis like we usually do, but this time I'm actually bringing on Retaking the Nation, who kind of got me.
What's up?
Yourself. So what's actually funny about this is that I actually did a live appearance on Retaking the Nation's channel like probably over a year ago now. Under
last summer.
Yeah, under like my my other alias online. And so pretty much that's kind of where I started off. That's like technically my first video doing politics online ever. And now, you know, obviously I've been doing this for like a couple months, but I thought it would be good to bring Retaking the Nation on because he does have really insightful, you know, perspectives on the election and stuff like that. And I feel like he's as fair as could possibly be. And so, you know, really, Biden is in a really bad spot. I mean, obviously, I think we could all agree on that at this point. He is polling ridiculously bad. He is in the gutter when it comes to his approval rating. I'm only sharing the map tab, so you guys won't be able to see me going through the other tabs. But right now, I'm looking at RCP. Trump leads the five-way aggregate, which is the aggregate I use because that's realistically going to be the matchup because it includes the third-party candidates that are on the ballot. It's not really realistic to only use the two-way one. So I usually tend to use the what is it called? I use the five-way one, and Trump is up by 2.2%, which is a lot higher than what he was even like a week ago or even a few days ago. Actually, he was up 0.9% on April 28th, and now he basically like gained an entire point and change in the aggregate now. And Kennedy had a little bit of a surge, but Kennedy is actually falling. He fell like 0.4 in the past like day or so. So that's also pretty interesting as well. And so somebody in the chat says Alpha Mapper said unrelated, but LT finally acknowledged his Democratic bias in his latest video.
Whoa, no way.
He actually did? No way. I have to see that later. He did? That's crazy.
Dude, I looked at his videos like last week or something.
It's terrible.
He
works for Biden. You know that, right?
Yeah, so he's just a paid shill. He's just a
yeah, of course he is. But I just don't like the fact that he doesn't admit that. Like if I was paid by the Trump campaign, I would be like doing this like Benny Johnson style probably, but that's not. But that's. But
all of us are like freaking grassroots, independent Zoomers, just like
Yeah, of course. That's
patriotic. Usually. And then all the people who are like left leaning, they're all like soy boys. They're like 5'6". They don't go to the gym. They sound like they're gay. And they're
it's so funny because like,
and they're all paid, yo.
It's crazy. It was funny because actually I did see his latest prediction. He has Michigan R, but Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Arizona blue, but Nevada red and Georgia red.
He just like randomly picked some states, just like
Well, he's very black-pilled on Michigan because of Israel Hamas. That's literally his explanation. That's literally it. He's like, oh, Biden's going to really struggle with the Arab vote in Michigan, so it's going to vote to the right of Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. And in Wisconsin, he brings up the midterms and the fact that Tammy Baldwin's on the ballot, and because the midterm and the Supreme Court election. That's what he brings up for that one. And Pennsylvania, he literally just brings it up because he fell in love with the +10 poll and he thinks that Shapiro is like an electoral juggernaut. Even though it's pretty common for Pennsylvania governors to win by double digits. So
It's the most surface level blue pill analysis. Like everything appears as it seems. Like, and you
No,
sound
yeah.
like you talk, and it's just like, who is this for? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
No, it's terrible.
We
Like
give
he's
it
not even.
analysis. We go into the polls. We talk about the issues. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And it was funny is he's made it very clear that he doesn't like Mark Robinson. Like he hates Mark Robinson with like a passion. Like you can tell in the videos. Like he has Mark Robinson losing by like a lean margin or something like that.
yeah, we'll
Like,
see. We'll see about that.
he has him losing by like 3 points. I think Trump's gonna win. Right now, I currently have because I actually have an Excel spreadsheet model for the whole election. I actually work with somebody called Gold Crown Politics, and he actually got the 2020 election 100% correct. And the reason why I know that's the case is because he's posted about the model he's made, and the way the model is done, you don't plug in any aggregates or any data. Like you're just simply guessing what the popular vote's going to be. And so he claims that he guessed the popular vote be 5.2% for Biden, and the actual popular vote is 4.5. And basically what he does is he finds the relative margin of the nation that the state voted the previous election, and then he finds the average shift between like 3 or 2 cycles, and he applies that, and that's the new relative vote of the nation. So he was able to get Georgia right. He got Georgia correct and everything. He got every single state right. Some of the margins were a little off, and he uses like 2 to 7 for lean and like 7 to 12 for likely and 12 plus safe. So his margins are a little weird, but he basically got everything right.
That's a
So
pretty good way to. I mean, that's not bad. That's not going to account for everything, especially demographics changes or state specific.
he is accounting for demographic changes too, though. Like when
Okay,
he
well,
does,
then that's pretty accurate.
and also like my model too. Well, he didn't account them when he used it in 2020, but I think he's updating it to kind of account for demographics and stuff like that. But even my model, because what I did is I combined mine from before and I combined his. So I actually programmed his into Excel spreadsheet. Like I programmed it in, and you just plug in whatever popular vote you want to put and the change in the popular vote, and it gives you like an electoral college result. And what's actually quite funny is that for the RCP aggregate, you have to, like for mine, you have to plug in the actual RCP aggregate. Like you can't plug in anything else because the way I reverse engineered the model is that you have to plug in the aggregate.
Okay.
So it wasn't necessarily because I reversed engineered to 2020 pretty much to like get it to test it pretty much. But what I'm doing is I'm combining his model with mine and I'm averaging out the results to get a more, it combines like a really accurate model with mine, and it kind of accounts for demographics on both sides. Like I kind of added that, and we get margins in all of the states. And what's actually quite funny about the whole thing is that if you actually put the current RCP aggregate and you put like Biden plus 4.5, and if you put Biden's popular vote approval rating, because my model accounts for the approval, if you put it to what it was in 2020, the result actually looks a lot like 2020, except Trump wins like 297 to 241. But it's still pretty accurate. Like that environment is pretty accurate compared to 2020 when you plug in everything. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the model works. I just have a feeling this election map, people are gonna be surprised. Things are gonna be cursed looking. Like we're gonna see like plus, Biden win New York plus 10, but like Colorado will be like plus 17, and then we'll see Florida plus. I think it's just gonna be cursed looking.
No way you think there's no way you have Colorado plus 17 for Biden? Really?
I'm not saying that's exactly what it's going to be. I think the map's going to look a little more cursed than people realize. That's just what I'm saying, especially with the RFK thing. I think we're just going to have a lot of weird margins.
I guess that's true.
It's just going to be a bizarre year. It's just, I just have that feeling.
Okay. So you think it's going to be kind of like 1992 in a way where all the margins are just going to be like out of whack, sort of?
Yeah, I do think that could happen. We could also see RFK go full 2016 Gary Johnson and really fall hard, and then things are going to kind of stabilize. But if he actually wins 8% of the vote, then the map could look really, really weird. We're still a long ways out, so a lot can change. But
somebody says in the chat, somebody says, what do you think about election predictions official? His model has been accurate in 2020 except Georgia. Yes, I didn't know about him. Because I refer to myself as the second most accurate person for predicting these. I made a video about it a long time ago. I may do it again, but I predicted 278 to 260 for Biden against Trump. So I did predict Biden was going to win. And then election prediction official, at least on recorded history, he is the most accurate because he got everything except Georgia, and he had Georgia as like a lean margin for Trump. Like he had him winning it by like 1.5, so he wasn't even like that off.
He doesn't seem like a paid shill either. He seems like
no. He knows what he's doing. He got the midterms right theoretically. He predicted a 50. I think he predicted a 50-50 Senate. So he got the midterms correct. So that gives him a lot of credibility because a lot of like right wing people and even some like left, even LTE didn't even get the midterms like 100% correct. He put Pennsylvania going for Oz and everything. So he likes to fall the crutch of the midterms, but even he overestimated Republicans a little bit too.
Well, I think he kind of like, because there was a slew of polls at the end that showed Republicans winning Senate seats. So I think he panicked and like was trying to overestimate for Republicans, and then it didn't end up happening. And of course, you have the annoying people who are like, I predicted a 50-50 Senate. And it's like, first, where's your map and where's your channel? But secondly, it's like, sure, if you're blue pilled, you're just always going to predict the blue pilled results.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I don't care about you. You're not acting in good faith at all when you do that.
Right. That's the thing. But at least
when you constantly wish cast, like you're going to get it right every now and again.
Right, of course. And so right now, the RCP aggregate is currently at 2.2% for Trump. It swings the popular vote 6.7 points from the right of 2020, and his approval rating is at minus 16.2, according to RCP. So first things first, we should kind of discuss like where do you think the popular vote's going to end up falling? Because I'm going to do an electoral map based off of like the model of what the model gives me. So like where do you think the aggregate, or like not the aggregate, but like where the popular vote, where do you think that's going to end up sitting?
We're so far out, but let's just say it could end up being like, I feel like it'll be really close. Like,
okay,
I think it'll be toss-up.
So you think
toss-up or Biden +1 is just what I'm leaning.
Okay.
So it just, there's so much time, but like I feel like it would be a toss-up popular vote.
Okay. Do you think for now we should use like Biden +1 or Trump +1?
It's tough because like Trump's actually ahead in the aggregate, and he always like kind of overperforms, but it's also really early, and so I don't know. Let's just say, let's be really like conservative. Say like Trump +0.5 or something. Let's say he like barely edges out the popular vote.
Let's see. Right. So let's plug that into that.
We see swings in like New York, California, Texas, and then Trump kind of.
We'll see what happens there. If we do that, that shifts the popular vote 4 points to the right. And so if we were to do that, we actually get a pretty easy victory for Trump based on this. He actually wins fairly easily here. Illinois is actually under 10 points on this, by the way. And New York is okay, so I'll basically fill this out. So California would obviously still be safe. Let me actually put it to the side over here. So that would still be safe. Washington would be safe. Oregon would still be safe, including New York and most of the Northeast. However, I believe New Jersey would actually also be a likely Democratic state. The margin.
I don't know about that. Well, what's likely?
It's under 10, but above
that. What was it? Plus 18 last cycle?
It was like plus 15.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows, man?
Right now, the model currently has it at like 7.5. I don't think it's going to vote that low, but I'm just going based off what the model has for now. Then we'll go off the model first, and then we'll do both of our like personal maps pretty much. It's just I use this for my weekly election predictions because I update my prediction every week, and I basically use the model for my.
You probably have a better model than 538 ever had, so.
And then if we look at like Ohio and Iowa, they're literally like 16-point victories for Trump. Like he wins them super easily, which is not that unrealistic because Trump is up in the aggregate in both of those states by like 9 points, and they always underestimate him. They always underestimate him by like 6 points. So that's not like completely out of the question.
I remember election day 2020, he was up like 2 in Ohio, and it wasn't even close.
538, he was up by like 1 or even less than that.
And he held rallies there near the end, which he shouldn't have because it was such an easy state.
No, yeah, that's the thing. It
campaign
was
was a
still at the time where like politically everybody thought Trump was like doomed, and he probably was being fed like, oh, you're competitive in Ohio and Iowa, and it's like, yeah, like no.
So everyone thought he was doomed, and he had a 45% approval rating. Biden has a sub 40% approval rating. Everyone's like, "Ah, no, it'll be fine, guys." It's like, are you sure?
He had a plus 45 approval rating there, Trump.
No, he had a 45%.
And what was
Just
Biden?
But well, Biden had like a plus 15. He was at like 55. But now Biden's approval rating is sub 40. It's like he dropped 15 points, and you think Biden's going to win the same popular vote margin? I mean, are you stupid?
No, there's no way. He's never gonna. I'd say the best possible scenario for him is probably winning it by like 3.5, and that's like on a really good day. Like that's like that'd be like a super good day for Democrats. Cool Blue 71 for 5 says 6 months out, my sense Trump +3, the 31 state pickups of Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Nevada for 312 electoral votes. Narrow misses would be New Hampshire, Minnesota, New Mexico, and Maine at large. I'd say that's actually pretty decently solid. Actually, there's 50 people in here, by the way.
Thanks for your super chat. Also subscribe to On Point. Get him to 9K subs. My hot take is Nevada will be further to the right than Arizona.
That's definitely. I think that's for sure going to happen. That's 100%. I'm like very set in stone that that's going to happen. I think that that's for sure going to happen. My model even shows that too. Actually, my model has it voting to the right by like 1.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And currently, Texas and Florida are in the safe column. Texas on my model is listed as a 13-point win, and Florida is a 13.8 percentage point victory. And Texas actually votes like 0.1% to the right on this model, and it's mainly because of the polling in Texas. Like if the polling was closer, it would not really be voting to the right of Florida in my model, but because of the border issue, that's probably why the polling is inflated there. And also Hispanic shifts as well. So
this is the best Trump has ever polled in Texas.
Yes.
And even in 2016, like he wasn't up a ton in the polls. They even there was a poll that Hillary was up 1 in. I remember 2020, 538 had him winning by like 2, but he's like up 10 solid in like every poll.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's crazy. Alaska, he's up by 15 in the model. So it does trend to the left nationwide. And I'd say in like the 2030s or 40s, this could be a problem for Republicans. But I mean, if Republicans are doing well in the rest of the country, Alaska is not really a huge loss, but it's still something to consider. Colorado on here is actually an 8-point victory for Biden. He wins it by 8. And Illinois is
black-pilled on Colorado.
And then Illinois actually votes to the right of Colorado on my model, by the way. It's a 7 point.
No way.
It's a 7.7 percentage point victory. It's because the polling data is really bad. And when you account for Gold Crown politics, like average shift in the state, it actually has shifted, like it trends to the right by like a decent amount too. And then
if Trump wins the black vote, like they say he's gonna win it, then that's possible. But he'd have to he'd have to crack like 25 with black males to get that margin, in my opinion, just because Chicago has so many people.
He cracked like 18 or 19% of them in 2020 nationwide, so I don't really think that's really out of the question. I don't think that's like too far out. But you got to understand too, like this accounts for white voters shifting to the right, but not as much as like Hispanic and black voters. Because what I did to account for demographics is I set the map to Biden plus 4.5. Like I set it back to the 2020 results. And then I put the popular vote at like Trump plus 4.5 on like a 538 model that accounts for demographics. And basically what I did is it pretty much accounts for like whatever the margin was for like the black vote or something like that. Like I basically compared the average shift in all of the states by like if it were to shift a point, the state would shift this much on the 538 model. So like some of it is accounted for there. So instead of me having to redo the model and then update the demographic pool, which is what I call it on the model every single time, it's just kind of like auto accounted for. And me and like 4 other people sat down and like decided what it would be pretty much. So it's like
what does Virginia look like in this model?
Virginia is actually lean. It's 3.2%.
Well, that I think it's really going to matter is what does white college educated people vote like in
I think it's going to be closer than people are thinking. I don't think it's going to shift to the
in
left at all. It's definitely
they 2016 white educated people kind of stuck with Republicans, and then 2020 they shifted a lot towards Biden. But will they have second thoughts in 2024? That's
There's
the question.
definitely not second thoughts because the young vote is shifting massively to the right. Now, I'm not saying Trump's going to win it outright. I don't think he is, but I think he's going to get a lot closer than people are thinking. Maine's first is a 16-point victory for Biden. The second district's a 17-point win for Trump. And Maine at large on this model is a 1.8 percentage point victory. New Hampshire's also lean too. So even though Trump is winning this, and by the way, like just because I plug in 0.5 into this model doesn't mean that's the popular vote that comes out with the model. Like what I might do is I might estimate turnout in the states like once a month and then kind of have the model like do the margins and like add up the votes, and then that would give like what the popular vote would actually be like on the model, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So this is not really used to like estimate the popular votes, more to estimate the electoral college results, if that makes sense. New Mexico on this map should probably, I think it's lean. New Mexico on this model is actually a 1.9% victory for Biden. It's actually really close. And I think I have the personal opinion that it's going to be a lot closer than people are thinking. I think it's going to be a lot closer because the only reason why I'd say it stays Democratic by a few points is because of the white vote shift trending to the left. But I think since it is a majority Hispanic state, even though Trump gains more with like Cubans or like Tejanos, I think like New Mexico, especially being kind of by the border, Biden's gonna hemorrhage a lot of support there. So I think it is gonna get close now, 1.8%. Again, this is what my model is showing. We'll both do our own personal maps, and I'll even fill out yours just so you can like show what you have, and I'll show what I have. But I don't think it's gonna be 1.8.
Another opinion I have is I think New Mexico flips before Minnesota does.
You know, it's funny. My model actually has that. My model, if you put the popular vote to a certain percentage, like if the model's just right, like if you shift it with the current RCP aggregate, Minnesota goes blue, like New Mexico goes red before Minnesota. So I think that's true. I think it is going to vote to the right of Minnesota this cycle. Now for the swing states, North Carolina on this model is actually a 9-point victory for Trump. He wins it very easily. Georgia is a super easy win. He wins it by 6.6%. Arizona is a 6.4 percentage point victory. Nevada,
no way,
is an 8-point victory.
No way Arizona's that.
Well, I mean, because theoretically, this model accounts for like historical polling bias, because that's how my part of the model is like reverse engineered. And so it's probably accounting for Trump outperforming the popular vote by like a couple of points. So, oh, Cool Blue for $9.99 or $10 says, for commonly recorded voting age at groups and exit polls 18 to 29, 30 to 44, 45 to 64, and 65 plus. Those 30 to 44 tend to come closest matching in the margin in the U.S. popular vote. I think they flip R and carry by 3 points. I mean, if Trump wins the millennial vote by like 3 points, the election's basically over at that point. So.
And he's going to. I'll tell you why. So like a lot of polls are showing basically all age groups except for boomers.
Yeah.
For Trump. Boomers, of course, leaning Biden. But why are millennials flipping to the right? And it has to do with the housing market.
Yeah, 100%.
Millennials can't get a house. It's so expensive to live and raise kids. And they're seeing how under Biden that just got worse. The housing crisis got worse. BlackRock bought up all the land. All the large multinational corporations bought up all the houses, turned them into Airbnbs. And they're seeing that now, and it's actually hitting them in a sufficient way. So that's why I think you're right. I think Trump will flip that.
This is why I like having people like you on, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. That's really bad. I did not know that.
Of course, boomers who have they have their pensions, they have property, they have income. They're not thinking about these things. All they're thinking about is mo Trump racist, mo Trump bad, right? That's about as far as the Democrat voting boomers go. So
right. And for example, like right now, okay, so somebody says, where are you getting your results? Right now, I'm not showing my Google sheets of my model, but that's where I'm getting my results from right now, at least. Wisconsin is a 7.2 victory on my model. And if you go to Michigan, 5.2% there. Pennsylvania, 6.5, and Minnesota is right now currently at 1.8 percentage point victory. So yeah, look, the model has New Mexico closer. Or actually, it's voting like 0.1% to the right, but it doesn't matter because if you were to shift the popular vote like to the right by like a point, it'd probably start voting to the right because of like the demographic thing I told you about. So
Yeah.
and then Nebraska second is a 0.2 percentage point victory for Biden. It's like really close. So this electoral college result is Trump winning 312 to 226. And Trump basically just wins all the swing states like really easily. And then Biden hemorrhages a lot of support in like New Mexico, Minnesota, Virginia, New Hampshire. But like Trump basically he doesn't landslide Biden in the electoral college, but he landslides him in the swing states, which I think could actually become a common thing where the electoral college result may not be a landslide, but the swing state margins may be really big. That's what I think could start happening.
Okay,
So,
someone is saying like that millennials are all going to vote RFK. I don't know where you're getting this information, but millennials are not going to flock to RFK. If anything, he would win like boomers and stuff, people who are nostalgic about it. But RFK is basically only good on one issue, the stabby. And other than that, he's flip flopped a million times on things. So millennials are not going to flock to RFK, and also he's not a realistic candidate.
right. There's a lot of people actually have like that really big like I'm gonna throw away my vote mentality, but
Well, if they vote
now
for Biden, then go ahead, throw your vote. Thank you. But if you don't like Biden, you should vote for Trump because RFK is a total grifter. So
oh, you really think I think RFK, like I don't agree with him on everything, but I actually think he's like somewhat decent. Like if it was like Kamala Harris and Nikki Haley, I'd vote for RFK as a third party candidate.
he's
Like
he's anti-war and he's good on the stabby. But other than that, I mean, his environmental policies are disastrous. He's a total shill for Israel. He's totally bought into the establishment when it comes to a lot of this stuff. So um, I would vote over him over Kamala Harris. Yeah, but yeah, Nikki Haley sucks too. I mean, those are just not good. None of those options are good.
I mean, it's a realistic. I mean, no, but that's not like if Nikki Haley just runs in the Republican primary and like, not gonna lie, I have a feeling if like Nikki Haley runs against like a crowded field, I think she could like eke it out. Like honestly, I think she could. I don't know. I think it'd be like a contested convention and they kind of just throw her delegates to her. I think that could happen. And Kamala Harris, even the same thing. Like that's not actually an unrealistic matchup. It would be extremely low turnout. Like both of them would probably get like Kamala Harris. I think Nikki Haley would probably it would be like midterm level turnout. Like it'd be super bad if that
I think
happened.
I'd have to vote for RFK in that case, just because.
Oh no, I would vote for RFK too.
Woman Nikki Haley in the White House is an incredibly scary thought. So
No. Yeah, I'd vote for RFK, like not even a question. And he'd have a legitimate shot at winning that too. Like he'd actually have a chance at winning that election, I think. I think he'd be polling in second place against Kamala. Like I think Nikki, because there's some polls with Joe Biden and Nikki Haley and RFK is like it was in second place in some of them nationally, and he was like in the high 20s in those, and Biden was like in the mid 30s. Like RFK could have won a decent amount of states if that happened. Like he probably would have won like at least like a quarter of the electoral votes if that was the popular vote. Like he could have won quite a few states that way. But we're gonna kind of go over your scenarios. So like what do you think are like the safe R and safe Democratic states? We're currently doing like +10 for the margins. So I'll fill it out for you as
all
we
the
go.
typical stuff plus Ohio and Iowa
Okay.
are safe. Alaska's safe now. Yeah, Ohio and Iowa. And then all the typical Democrat states, even Illinois, New York still. I don't see them being under 10. Like
Okay.
yeah. And then I have Florida as likely and Texas is likely.
Okay. Where do you think those margins sit at there?
Texas will be like +8. Florida will be like +6 or 7.
Okay. So you still think Texas votes to the right of Florida still?
Just barely.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a lot closer than
It'll
before.
be really close. Like the margins will be very similar.
Right.
Virginia, I have like Biden +7.
Okay.
Then North Carolina, like Trump 4 or 5 probably.
I'll
I
put
think
it up.
it's like a very much like a 2016 victory there.
Right.
Georgia, I think, is like Trump +3 right now. At
Yeah.
least. I'm
Yeah.
being a little conservative. And
What
then
about New Hampshire and Maine and like Colorado, New Mexico before we
New Hampshire just keeps drifting to the left. I'd say that's like Biden +4 still. I think New
Okay.
Hampshire's kind of gone right now.
Right.
And Trump's not a very quote unquote libertarian candidate. Not that I would want him to be, but that seems to be the people. But
Did you
although
Did you
the governor,
yeah, he's speaking at the Libertarian Convention.
Trump is?
Yep.
Well, maybe he's making a play for New Hampshire. That's fine. Like, I'm not a libertarian at all, but if he wants to try and get those voters, especially since there's an important governor's race there.
You think it would be? I think it would be pretty interesting if he because he's going to speak there. What do you think if are they nominating? Like, have they already floated a nominating?
Lars Mapstead is their candidate, and he's a total joke.
Oh yeah, that guy. He literally pastes interactive polls on Twitter to do like polls for him. It's hilarious. Yeah,
the Libertarian Party's a joke. I mean, it's always been a joke. Because really it's just a ridiculous concept anyways. Libertarians love to live in the world of ideals and if it was perfect, we'd have no border and it's not practical at all.
We can't.
I would put New Mexico like Biden +8, Colorado Biden +9. I mean, at this point still.
Right.
He would win at large in Maine 1. At large could be closer. It could be like a 2016 sort of thing. And then I think he wins Nebraska second, but like by 5, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully they can get that initiative passed. Yeah.
They redrew the district, by the way. Like, they redrew it significantly more Republican. That's why I have it as lean.
Needed to be bigger, though. I would say that Minnesota is going to be Biden +5.
Oh wow, okay.
It'll be closer. I don't know. There's not a lot of polls there. So
you think it's gonna vote to the left of New Hampshire?
Yeah, they're gonna be similar. I don't know exactly. Trump's not gonna flip New York.
Oh yeah, in the chat.
It'll be better. He might get 30% in New York City, but we're a long ways out from winning New York.
Yeah, no.
Nevada's gonna be like Trump +3, I think.
Yeah, I think that's realistic too, because I think there's gonna be a huge shift in like Clark County.
And Laxalt barely lost, and everything was against him. Literally, funding, snowstorms, you name it. He only lost by a few thousand votes. So Trump wins. I don't know if he can drag Sam Brown over the finish line. We're just gonna have to see.
No, he's not gonna be able to. If he's only winning by 3, he can't.
Arizona's gonna be Biden +1.
You think it's lean Dem? You think Maricopa's gonna shift to the left?
State's gone.
Wow, you're really that black-pilled on Arizona? Jesus Christ.
Arizona. And also because of the abortion stuff that's come up.
Oh,
I think I wouldn't spend money there, honestly. Like, focus on the Rust Belt. But we'll see. Trump's leading in the polls there. I'm just very black-pilled in Arizona. Like, they elected freaking
winning. Like, I'll show my map in a second. I have Trump winning there though. But even if he was like, if Biden was up like 1 or 2 in the popular vote in the RCP aggregate, I probably have Arizona going blue too. Like, I am pretty black-pilled on it, but Trump is doing so good in the aggregate that I still have him winning it either way. So
I have Michigan will go red before Arizona goes red.
Right, yeah, that's true. I have that too.
And because of the whole Israel-Palestine thing,
right.
I think that's a big advantage for Trump. I would put Wisconsin as like lean, maybe 1 point. Right. And Pennsylvania is my most toss-up state. Like, it really could go either way. But right now, I'm thinking tilt Trump.
Right, yeah, I think so too.
It's going to be very, very close. It'll be down to the wire there. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of, it could change, but this is kind of what the map's looking like. And I think this is even pretty conservative, to be honest. Like, I could be much more aggressive with Arizona for sure. We're just so far out. It's just tough to know, but kind of with the way things going, that's what I see.
Right. Okay. Well, at least for my electoral map, I currently have, this is what I have as like my personal electoral map prediction. I think Iowa's going to vote over 10. I also have this. I have South Carolina. I say Alaska's barely over 10. I have it as like R+11 in my personal opinion. California, Oregon, Washington are all going to be over 10 points. I have Colorado over 10. So I have it at like plus probably 11 or 12 for Biden. Like he's going to perform similar there to 2020. New Mexico, I have it at like Biden plus like 6 though. So that's
Yeah.
kind of have that at. Like I think it's going to vote quite differently than Colorado for sure. Like I think they're going to differentiate a lot. All of that, all of the Northeast basically safe, including New York. New York, I expect to be like a 13-point victory for Biden as of right now. And even Illinois, I expect it to be like a 12-point win for Biden too, like or 13, like similar to New York. Like they're going to vote pretty similar. That's kind of what I have it at. Nebraska's like our mains first. I have it safe, same for mains second, but I have it at like plus 11 or 12 for Trump. And then mains first is like plus 16, plus 15 for Biden. And then main at large, I have it like lean Democrat. I have New Hampshire lean. I have Nebraska second lean. Ohio, I have it as likely. I actually think it's going to be like a 9-point win for Trump. And Florida will be like a 7-point win. And Texas will be like 6 probably. That's what I'm thinking. And this is me like forecasting into the future, sort of. Like I definitely think the aggregate may get closer. That's like what I'm thinking. But if Trump is still up in the popular vote by like 2 or 3 points, like a month before the election, my map's going to look way different. Like way different. Like Trump would be easily winning the election. Virginia would be lean, Democrat, including Minnesota.
If Biden has a shit his pants moment in the debate, I mean that could happen.
Right.
Because you know what you're gonna get from a Trump debate performance. It's gonna be Trump. There's gonna be the antics. There's gonna be the comedy. But Biden could literally like pass out or like forget where he is seconds on stage. You never know. And like he's much less mentally confident than 2020. Like if you look at 2020 Biden, he looks like freaking Albert Einstein rock star
compared to now. Yeah. And he wasn't even that good then.
No, he was still awful, but like he's like come so far from then.
Yeah, and like Biden and like Biden 2012, forget it. Biden 2012 was actually a good debater for the most part. He actually he killed what was that guy's name? Paul Ryan. He killed him, bro. He killed him. Like if that Biden debated Trump, forget it. Biden would have.
I'm gonna have to do a video like if Biden gaffes in the debate, what will the map look like? Like he has
like not a regular gaffe because Biden did gaffes in the debate.
Talking about how he took a shower with his daughter. Like if he starts doing that, then like I gotta make a map for that.
Like wait, like if he what? What?
Did you know about his the diary that was found? Where like he was showering with his daughter when she was like 12.
Oh yeah, I found out about that. That's weird.
Yeah. If he starts talking about that, then it's over.
North Carolina, I have is like 3.5. Like it's similar to the 2016 victory. I have Georgia at like R+2, and right now I have Nevada at like R+2 as well. Like Georgia and Nevada actually vote somewhat similar, and then like Wisconsin, I have it as lean R. Michigan, I have it as till. Same thing as Pennsylvania, and then Arizona, I have it as like till R. So our maps are kind of similar.
Yeah.
In a way, like they're pretty similar, and I have like Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania like till R, but this is me forecasting into the future. I always just like using the model during my predictions because it's a snapshot of like right now, if that makes sense. So that's why I kind of like using that.
Sorry, too black pilled on Arizona. Sorry.
Oh, you think you're like way too black pilled on it? Well, what's actually funny is I did a video on this because honestly, I don't think he's as screwed there as people think he is. Because if you look at this, right, Biden, this stack strategy, these people look at their map. Oh well, actually, you can't even see. Hold on, I'm gonna have to reshare it. You're gonna see this, you're gonna start laughing. You're gonna be like, what in the world is this? Look at my screen. Look at this monstrosity.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And what's funny is that they have Pennsylvania as the closest state on here. Within a 1/10 of a point. Like literally.
Yeah.
They have it within 0.0. They have it within 0.0. Like no, it's 0.10. They have it within 0.10% of a point. So if Trump were to win Pennsylvania on this model, he wins, and that's like what, like literally like 10,000 votes. So, and what's weird is they have Arizona as the same exact victory for Biden, but they have Nevada going D+4. They have Wisconsin as like 0.2 1.2 for Biden. Then he wins Michigan by like 1.7. And then Trump is only winning Florida by 3.9.
No way. Yeah.
Yeah. And they have Texas as like a 5 or 6 point win. Like it's similar, or I think it's like an 8 point win actually, which is weird. They have Texas as R+8, but they have Florida as 3.9. And then North Carolina is like a 4. Like I think North Carolina almost votes to right of Florida on here.
Yeah.
And Georgia is exactly a 0.69% point victory.
Hey, so I gotta head out. I gotta head out. Hit that 9K. That was a good.
You have to.
I gotta head out to something, but that was a good stream. We'll have to do more later. Subscribe to On Point, guys. Let's get him to 9K.
All right, we'll see you, man. Thanks for joining.
Peace out.
All right. So yeah, guys, I mean, this model, I mean, I've done a video on this model before. This is a terrible model for the election. It's really bad. Just because what I was about to explain to him before he left, I didn't know he was gonna have to leave so soon, but the rules shift to like the left, but all the major cities shift to the right. Like it doesn't make any sense. Treat women like dirt and they'll stick like mud from 2032, bro. What the hell? Okay. Well, yes, right now, my current electoral map, and actually, I'm just going to share my screen because might as well. And so right now, what's actually interesting is that, yeah, my model has Trump winning fairly easily, and I have these same electoral college result, but the margins are just a little bit different. Like I have everything is a little bit more skewed to the left, if that makes sense in a way. Not really skewing to the left because of bias or anything, but it's just because, like, I don't really think Trump is gonna win Wisconsin by 7 right now. Like, I think that's very unrealistic as of right now. Like, if we're getting closer and he's still leading the aggregate by like 2 or 3, then we could see, yeah. But where did LTE actually say that? What do you mean he showed his bias? Because somebody in the chat said he like showed his bias in the latest video, and I'm very surprised that he did that. Where did he like mention that? If chat could tell me, I would appreciate it. Please. Intro? What does he say? Okay. Yeah. Uh, oh my god, bro. You gotta be kidding me. That makes it even worse. Like wow. What is he talking about? Oh my god, bro. Okay. Yeah. I actually incredible, man. It's incredible. Guys, and what's actually funny, right? Is if we were to okay, because what I did actually is I added a second part to the model where we actually have like a 2028 portion of the model where it gets the 2024 results, and we're actually looking at some results for 2028. If we kind of look at that, and what's actually funny is you have like you have the Republican nominee doing like fairly good in like a tied environment. The Democrat does pretty bad, like really bad, like to the point where it's like not even okay. Like they're doing like really bad. And so I just find it pretty interesting that that's the case. And for whatever reason, Maine's first is lean, which is weird. I think it's oh yeah, you see, it's getting the wrong that there it goes. That's what it needed to be. I don't know why. Yeah, I had it as like you see. Yeah, these are all off. I'm gonna have to like redo are these all out of whack? Yeah, I think they are. They're all out of whack. I think. Yeah, these are all like super out of whack. Because if I go to like C92, that's Arizona, and then we have 41. Oh no, this is right. Oh, never mind. I don't know why I switched these. I don't know why. That's weird. That's weird. I'm gonna put that at that for now. I'm gonna leave that there for now. And so this puts chief constituent for two says, do you have a House or Senate predictions right now? I actually did upload a Senate prediction. I mean, it did not too great, but I do have one that came out today. So if you want to watch that afterwards, you definitely can. But what's actually funny about this is that the model has the Republican nominee doing pretty well in 28 in like a tied environment. Like they're doing like fairly solid in the swing states. Like it's basically like if Trump, because basically what it does is it tracks the current 2024 results, and then it kind of goes based off of that. So like let's say Trump is like let's say Trump wins by what the current model is showing right now. If that was the case, then in a tied national environment, Republicans would be doing fairly solid in the electoral college. Like they'd be doing very well. Virginia would be closer though. Colorado would be a likely margin. Would be like a 7-point win. California, Washington, Oregon, all of these states would still be they'd still be safe for the most part. Oregon does fall under 10 though, and Nevada on this map, if we actually find Nevada, is like a 9.8 victory, but Arizona is like a 6.9. So you can see that Nevada trends to the right a little bit there. Georgia is to the right of Arizona on this map. New Mexico actually barely flips on this scenario, which is quite interesting. New Mexico ends up flipping here, which is quite interesting. And if we look at Alaska, we see that it is a 14-point victory. Hawaii, if we look at Hawaii, it's actually only a 13-point win. So like Hawaii is closer than Alaska is. So that's very interesting. Even in a tied popular vote, it's actually pretty close. Then all like the Northeast basically is pretty competitive. Not competitive. They're basically safe. But New Jersey is way closer. It's actually a likely margin in the electoral college. But Connecticut and Delaware are still like over 10 points. Rhode Island, if we look at it, it's a 12-point win. So like, New Jersey significantly votes to the left or to the right there, like 100%. North Carolina is like a 10-point win, so it literally goes in the safe column. So does like Texas and Florida. They kind of trend to the right as well. Illinois on this map is actually only a 5-point win, so it votes 2 points to the right of Colorado, which is interesting. And then New York, if we were to find New York, it actually is only an 11-point victory on a tied popular vote map. Maine's first, I believe, would still be safe. Maine's second would be likely. I feel like these margins are wrong. So for the sake of the video, I'm going to leave these lean, just that lean for now, because that's probably where that would sit. New Hampshire would be a 2.4 percentage point victory there. Michigan would be a pretty decent victory as well. Like that'd be pretty good too. And if we look at Minnesota, we'd also see that it's a 1.4 percentage point victory. And then we look at Nebraska second. Yeah, see, these are all off. I'm gonna have to update these, but let's say it'll probably end up being lean. So like in a tied national environment, the Republican would be at 318 electoral votes, with New Mexico going in their column, which is quite interesting. Now, if for whatever reason, the aggregate had the Democrat up like 4 points. So let's say that shifts the popular vote 4 points. So let's say Trump won the popular vote by like half a point. And let's say that Trump is disapproved of by like 10 points nationwide or whatever. And the Democrat and the popular vote actually wins by like 2.5. And that is like a 2-point shift in the national popular vote. That puts the election a lot closer, but the Republican is still winning pretty easily. Like they still win relatively easily. Like it's not really making that much of a difference. Like, I mean, Pennsylvania goes lean, North Carolina is likely, but it's not like, there's a humongous shift to the point where, and then Florida now votes to the right of Texas. So, and Colorado's like over a 10-point win. New Mexico is like a 3-point win. So it doesn't really change it way too much. Literally the only state that flips back is New Mexico, and that's literally about it. This becomes likely. And actually, let's look at Michigan, because I want to see if it votes to the right of no, it doesn't. So they're both lean, including, I believe, Georgia. Nevada would not be, though, because Nevada's voting to the right of Arizona by a little bit. And if we go to it, it's actually a 6-point victory. So this is what the Electoral College would be looking like in that scenario. Actually, we could look at Texas really quick and Florida. Yeah, they're still there, so it wouldn't really matter. This is where the Electoral College would roughly be at. If that was the popular vote. And so Democrats have to win the popular vote by like quite a big amount to actually win the Electoral College now. Like even if a Democratic candidate's winning like by +5 in 28, more than likely what you would see is you'd probably see like Ohio, Iowa still be safe. Texas and Florida would be right below the safe category. All of these would be safe. Colorado would be there. New Mexico, I think, my personal opinion, is going to start voting like super far to the right of Colorado, to the point where it could even differentiate by like over 10 points. Hawaii would still be safe. I think that, the Northeast is going to stay there. New Jersey would probably be likely with Delaware. I think New York and Illinois would be likely like under 10 points. I think Virginia would be lean. I think South Carolina would be safe. North Carolina is likely. Georgia would be probably lean without Trump on the ballot. I think Wisconsin possibly is lean, and then you have Michigan till R, and then Arizona I think would be possibly without Trump on the ballot. I'd say it probably votes to the left of New Mexico. Like, I think Arizona would just be gone for Republicans. That's like my big hot take for 28, is that I think after 2024 Arizona is going to be like super far gone on the presidential level, and then Nevada would still be lean R, and Pennsylvania could really go either way. Like, it could go red, and then this would be the electoral map, which would be super weird because this would be really cursed. This is what Retaking the Nation currently has the map out right now, but it's really weird because you have like this lone likely Democratic state on the bottom, while New Mexico's lean, which I know looks super funky. It looks weird, but I think this is going to happen, where the Southwest is still going to trend to the left collectively, but Nevada and Texas are still going to trend to the right, so that kind of helps Republicans. But if the Republican nominee is like really bad, Nevada could flip, Texas could flip back. Texas could flip at some point, but I even think like Utah could even become a little bit more competitive without Trump on the ballot, for example. So I'd say probably for like the 2030s, like if we were to kind of go that far, like a general 2030s map per se, I'd say that by then, probably you'd have Colorado would be safe, Dem. These would still be safe. I think Hawaii would be under 10 points. I think Alaska would be lean R. I think Texas, funny enough, I think would still be likely, and I'm going to explain why. It's generally because since there's going to be a big Hispanic shift for Republicans to the right, I think they're still going to do well there. Florida would be over 10 points. Illinois would be likely, and I think New York would as well. I think these would get kind of competitive. I think Rhode Island would fall under, as well as Connecticut. Delaware and New Jersey, I think, would be lean Democratic states in the future. Now, New Mexico, I actually would have it as lean R in the future, while having Arizona as like a leaning Dem state. Nevada would be likely Republican by the 2030s, in my assumption. And then New Maine second would be kind of around a safe margin there. Same thing for that. Maine at large, I'd suspect probably be leaning Republican by then. New Hampshire would kind of be a toss-up. I'd say it tilts Democrat. Virginia, I think, would be likely Democratic as well. North Carolina, without Trump on the ballot, I think might become an issue for Republicans, and so might even Georgia. So this would probably be the path to the presidency for Democrats, where they kind of just win through Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, I think like Wisconsin and Michigan are probably going to be Wisconsin would be gone for Democrats at that point. And I think Nebraska second could get closer, as well as like Minnesota could definitely be there. But I think as like for a toss-up map, this is probably what you would be looking at in terms of like a toss-up map for the 2030 elections. You could see that Republicans have a higher floor, and their path is really easy. They need Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Alaska. That's literally all they need. Well, Democrats need to run it up quite significantly. They need to win New Jersey, Delaware. They need Michigan. They need Pennsylvania. They need New Mexico, Arizona, and Minnesota. And they'd still need to pick up another state, which would probably be New Hampshire. And then Maine at large would barely get them over the finish line there. And so they'd have to put in a lot more work electorally to be winning presidential elections. The white vote would probably shift to the left by at least 10 points. And I think Hispanics and blacks, I think Republicans would get close to winning blacks by this point, in my personal opinion. So this is like a 2030s electoral map, like a 2030s kind of toss-up map with the lean states per se. So yeah, Republicans have a pretty decent floor here. You could even say that Georgia may, well, maybe not Georgia. I think like a future Democratic victory could look something like this, like the Rust Belt goes red, and then you kind of have basically have the Sun Belt basically going Democratic, and maybe Alaska. And even then, they still wouldn't even win. They'd have to win one of the Rust Belt states. So that's why it's so important for Democrats to hold the Rust Belt, because if they don't, they're basically screwed. And even with Nevada, they still wouldn't win the Electoral College in the scenario. So like if Democrats had a really good election in the Sun Belt and just didn't win Texas, and the Republican just kind of won the Rust Belt with Minnesota, the Republican would be winning the Electoral College. Like maybe you can make the case that like Minnesota is voting to the left of the Rust Belt still, or it's like a little bit closer, but Nevada would kind of be leaning R because of the Hispanic vote, and maybe New Mexico. But like, let's say this could be a realistic map in the future. I think this could happen where like Georgia and North Carolina, like for whatever reason, like white voters just shift like super left here, and they just kind of make the states more Democratic sort of. And North Carolina would be like a fluke. Like it wouldn't be like a consistent voting pattern. Like it'd be like a 0.2 percentage point victory for the Democrat, and they'd have to be popular. But like even the Rust Belt, even if the Democrat is really popular, like the Rust Belt is probably going to vote consistently Republican in the future, just because Trump's going to be doing good with white working class voters. And I think that's going to make Illinois, New York eventually go Republican. So I'd say for like the 2040s, like the far future, Nebraska second would be R. You'd have Minnesota kind of go red. You'd have Maine at large kind of go R. New Hampshire would probably fall into that column. And Illinois, would be a Republican. Georgia and North Carolina, I feel like Georgia would be blue, but like not North Carolina. That'd be a toss-up. I think New York would be a toss-up. I think New Jersey, Delaware would be. I think Texas would be a toss-up. I think New Mexico would be, as well as Nevada, sort of. And Alaska would be as well. I think Utah by that point would probably be a toss-up, including like Kansas as well. But again, Democrats' floor is really bad here. And so you could see an election where the Democrat does really good in the Sun Belt, but the Republican does a little bit well here, where like they probably don't win Illinois, but maybe they win New York. Maybe they don't win New Jersey, but they win like Delaware. And then the Democrat wins like North Dakota. And you see how many states the Democrats have to win in order to even win in this scenario. Like the Rust Belt is very important for Democrats. It's really, really important. And Texas is also important too, because if they don't win that, it's going to be a lot closer. And if Republicans just hold Utah, even if you get this map, Republicans would still win. So as for the future, Republicans may be on track to win 2024 and possibly even 2028 pretty easily, depending on the electoral scenario in the future. But guys, I am going to have to end the stream here just because of the fact that I do really have to get going now. So if you guys did enjoy the video, please hit that like button, subscribe, try your best to try to get us to, basically 9K. We are almost there. We are 80 subscribers away from 9K. We'll still be posting, tomorrow and like literally every single day. And I'll probably do another stream tomorrow. So if you guys did enjoy this stream, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and make sure to follow the Twitter and join the Discord in the description down below. And I will see you guys very, very soon.